Hey, what's up, everyone? Sam here, modernmusiclife.com. I'm here with Misery Signals. Why don't you introduce yourself, man?
My name is Greg Thomas, and I play guitar in the band.
So, you guys kind of disappeared for like 5 years there. What happened with that?
Well, we had a couple members leave, and it took a little while. I'm actually one of the newer members. I've been with them for 3 years now, and so they went on kind of a hiatus. They had 2 key members leave, and then they gave me a call, and they're like, "Hey, we're thinking about doing this again, and we'd like to have you be a part of it." And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be great." So we started getting together again and writing and seeing if like we could make it feel like the band, like see if we could pick up where they left off, and just started rolling with it again. And now we actually have one of the members that left back in the band. Yeah. Our bass player is back. So
are you the newest member then? Has all the other members like the original 4 now?
Well, the Carl's not the original singer. Okay. There was a singer before him, but yeah, I am the newest member now. But I have known these guys since they started. Like I was on their second tour that they did back in 2002.
So were you friends with them before they started the band, or?
I met them right when they started because their original guitarist is from my home state of Connecticut, even though the band's based out of Milwaukee. So I met them right when they started the band.
Yeah. Okay. And you're back on tour now with a new album coming out on July 23rd. Why don't you tell us about the album?
Well, the new album's called Absent Light, and we recorded it. We produced it, actually. Me and the other guitarist, Ryan, produced it ourselves. And we're very hands-on with the record, and we spent a lot of time on it. Yeah. We were writing it for about 2 years, and we spent about 4 or 5 months recording it. So we certainly went all out with it. And it just comes out on the 23rd. We're really happy with it. We tried to put elements of all the previous Misery Singles albums into this, and tried to push it forward a little as well. And I'm pretty excited about it. I hope
for sure. Into it. All right. And now that you're back, what can we expect from you guys in the future?
Well, now that we're back to doing stuff, we're definitely going to be promoting this record. Doing some touring behind that, and plans are just to do things, when we can, to start doing stuff again. We're hoping to do some international touring towards the end of the year, hoping to go to like Australia and Asia, if it works out. And then the plans are kind of to maybe get together and start writing more music, So it was a lot of fun doing the record, even though it was a long time and a lot of work. And Guelph, welcome to Guelph. We're planning on trying to write more music and stay a little more active than we have been.
Okay. And what's it feel like coming back and still having huge support from like the original fan base and gaining more fans probably?
Oh, it feels great. When we were getting together again, we were really worried that people would have just forgotten about us, would just be like, "Oh, I remember that band. I used to like them when I was in high school," And hey, there we go. All right. But we were really worried that our time might have passed, more or less. And the response to us coming back has been so enthusiastic that it's just like reinvigorated us greatly. So it's had a great effect on us. It's made us more determined. We did the crowdfunding campaign for the record, and it was a total success, letting us create the album that we wanted to create, work with the people that we wanted to work with. And that's inspired us so much that we did the campaign, and then just like a month later, the album's coming out, after it finished. So it's pretty exciting. It's just an exciting thing. How
do you feel about the whole crowd funding thing? Like, so many bands are doing it now. Like, you guys, as Blood Runs Black, and just so many more. Protest the Hero.
Yep. Protest had a great one. At first, I was apprehensive about it, honestly. Like, I didn't know if it was like maybe a cheap move, where people are like, "Oh, give us money for nothing," type of thing, which I think a lot of people perceive it as that. But we tried to run it where it was like basically a pre-order. Yeah. So, you donate the price of the album and you get the album, So we just did it as like a pre-order. I think if bands do reasonable perks and they just run it as a cool pre-order, like here's a t-shirt, here's, the vinyl record or whatever, then I think it can be a really cool and liberating thing. It can remove the middleman in music, which is the label industry. Yeah. And I think that can be really positive, as long as people don't abuse it and are like, here, pay $3,000 to have pizza with us or some fucking bullshit like that,
All right, and So during the hiatus, there was a lot of focus on side projects from like most of the members, if not all of them. And what were you up to personally for the past couple of years, or well, before you joined the band, even, I guess, too?
Well, I for the past couple years while being in this band, I played in this band called Enabler, which is like a kind of crusty punk band. Was touring with them while we were kind of working on the record, and personally, I run a recording studio, so I was producing records. Did a record, with Shia Lude. Did a record with this band Life in Your Way, Make Do and Mend, Hostage Com, like a number of bands. Yeah. So I stay pretty active doing that personally. The other guys, our singer Carl and Ryan, our other guitarist, they also work on records and produce records as well. Yeah. So we're all pretty hands-on with that. And our drummer was doing drum lessons and drum teching, and he actually filled in for Unearth for like a little bit and was doing some drum teching for As Lay Dying and a couple different things like that. And Kyle, who's just back in the band, he just kind of went to normal life for a second, and then thought that was a little boring, and then came back to the band. So. Okay.
And your newly released song Luminary, it definitely still sounds like the Misery Signals. You said before you tried to keep the sound. Is it a good preview of what we can expect from the entire album?
To some extent, yeah, absolutely. We tried to maintain a lot of like what we thought was kind of classic elements of the band, tried to bring back a few different things. I think Luminary is a little more frantic and aggressive in the way that the first record, Malice, was. Yeah. And we also tried to make it polished and tight like the last record, Controller, was. So I do think it's a good sign of what's coming, but I also think that no single song represents the album. I think that every song is pretty different and goes in different directions, and that's something we focused on, actually. So every song kind of will show you some elements that are in the record, but there's not one specific sound. Every song kind of has like a different groove or vibe to it, and that's something that we tried to achieve on this.
Are you playing many of the songs on the tour right now, or?
We're doing 2 of the songs on the tour right now. We're doing Luminary and another one. And we only wanted to do 2 because people don't really know the record yet. Yeah, and when you go see a band and they're playing all new material, no matter who you are, it's boring, in my opinion. You want to see the songs that you know and like a sampling of what's to come. Yeah. So
especially for the first tour back, you play all the stuff that everyone knows, right? So.
Absolutely. So we're doing a lot of old songs, more so than we've done in the past, and we're doing just 2 new ones and trying to, hopefully that gives people a preview and they get excited about the record and they have a fun time. We won't bore them to death,
Yeah, for sure. All right. And where does the influence come from in writing for Misery Signals, either for you personally or as the band as a whole?
We take influence from a lot of different bands. I would say on this record, we definitely listen to a lot of this old band from Boston called Cave-In. We listen to a lot of Cave-In and, different things. We actually pull influence from a lot of different things, like Radiohead would be like an influence. Also on this record, we have orchestral string arrangements, like not programmed, but actually we got a 40-piece string ensemble on the album. And they're interwoven throughout the record, and that influence comes from like film scores, like Hans Zimmer and stuff like that. So that was a pretty heavy influence on us, and Meshuggah, Deftones, a lot of like odd rhythm bands, and we always draw influence from that, and even more mellow things like Explosions in the Sky and stuff like that.
Okay. And who are 3 bands that you'd like to tour with in the future?
Well, I listed some of them. I would love to tour that band Cave-In if they were doing stuff again. That's like one of my all-time favorite bands. That would be absolutely great. And I also think it would be fantastic to tour with a band like Meshuggah, even though they would destroy us every night. Just to see them for like 30 nights in a row alone would be really fun. And I guess the other band, I'd love to tour with Propagandy from Canada. Absolutely, that's one of my favorite bands. We also draw influence from them on the record too. There's a song on the album that's like a fast, kind of more aggressive punk song, more or less, and the influence is straight from Propagandy, one of our favorite bands. So even though they sound totally different than us, that would be an awesome tour for us. Like we'd just be fans singing along every night. Okay.
And what music are you listening to right now? Or like, would it be the same bands that you'd want to tour with, or do you listen to a bunch of different music?
Really, I listen to a lot of film score stuff, so I don't know if I could tour with the Inception soundtrack, but if I could, I think I would be there. But as far as, we listen to a lot of different stuff. We listen to a lot of like kind of, a decent amount of like classic rock stuff like Queen or Pink Floyd, something like that. just because we hear heavy, crazy music,
every day.
every day. Yeah. So you want to listen to stuff that's a little more mellow when you're on the road. Also been listening to the new Daft Punk. We like that a lot. Just geeky stuff, geeky tech metal stuff. You know,
Right.
always. Our drummer's always listening to stuff with weird patterns.
Yeah.
He's obsessed with that. So.
Yeah. All right. And is there anything that you'd like to say to your fans?
Just thanks. Thanks for supporting us and making us feel like we're not old dinosaurs that should be embarrassed to be up there, you know? Like just the support has been overwhelming and has really just made us feel like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing right now, which is a good feeling, you know?
All right, that's everything. So it's Misery Signals. Make sure you check out their new album coming out in less than a month now. Check out this interview and all others at www.modernmusiclife.com. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thank you very much.